Welcome back for topic 3.4, else if statements. In this video, we're going to talk about another way to use selection to control your program flow. Notice that the essential knowledge statement for this topic talks about multi-way selection. In the previous two topics, we talked about one-way selection with an if, two-way selection with an if-else, but because we have more than two options or one option in things in life, we need multi-ways to select components in code. This will be accomplished with the use of an if-else if. Java's going to call it an else if, and you're going to see that in this video. So here's our diagram. We're still checking for true or false based on the given condition that was set up in the program. But this time, when our false option is what is triggered, typically we would use that for our else. We're going to have multiples of them, as many as you need to solve your problem. So let's look at a piece of code that kind of works off of the last couple of examples. So we still have age, and the program's going to print out the current age of the variable, the current definition of the variable. But then we have if your age equals or is greater than or equal to 18, you get a couple of output statements. Else if it were 16 or older, else if 15, and then if your age is exactly to 14, you would have those things. So the program is going to function. In my classroom, I call this a waterfall. I don't know why I call it that. That just happens to be, I don't know, it seems the way it looks in my mind maybe, that the code's just going to kind of meander across until it finds what it's looking for. Now, of course, if my age had been defined as 12, the program's not going to output anything because we have no, no option for that. I did want to mention, as you're looking at this code, and here would be the output for the current way that you see it, that you can also set this up in terms of your syntax with an if statement, else if, and then your final one could be an else. You'll see that as well. That may be how your teacher codes. That may be how you prefer to code. Java will compile and run either way. You'll see it both ways, and it will work both ways. One of them is probably preferable, probably with just an else at the bottom, but I happen to do this particular piece of code this way. So what I want y'all to do next is pause the video and create a program of your own that will evaluate grades. This is a pretty common, it's kind of like the hello world of else if statements. So remember way back in Unit 1 where you learned hello world with Mr. Schultz. This is a typical else if scenario, evaluating a grade. So what I would like for you to do is declare a variable, a double my average. And if you wanted to make it user input, you could allow it where the user inputs a number. And then using a series of selection with else if, you're going to have it take that variable definition and print out or display. You have an A average, you have a B average, and so forth and so on. I've included here the use of escape sequences just to remind you of something that we learned about in Unit 2. Keep that fresh on your mind. And of course, each of your evaluation pieces, each of your conditional statements, I have set up for a typical 89.45, which in my world rounds to an A. If your school has a compressed scale, bless you, but make it represent what your school would have. I hope yours is an 89. If you want to get real technical, you could do that 89.4, what would be 445 or something. Sometimes we're hanging on the edge of that A, reaching for it. So pause the video and write some code to create your own program. All right, welcome back. Hopefully your program produces a result. If you had a 92.5, either way, whether you're on a compressed scale or regular scale, you should have had some output. I did want to mention, I'm not sure if I did on the previous slide, but when you're doing these waterfall else ifs, you want your highest number first. So back at the the example with the 18, 17, 16, you want to start with your highest number. You're going to get some logic problems if you start with the low number and have it evaluate. It it won't work well. So if you're setting up this if-else multi-way selection and it's evaluating an integer or double, have it look at the highest point first and then come downward. If you set it up in another way, you may have already learned that. So what are we taking away today? This is our third option for selection, and it's a part of the AP subset, and it's multi-way selection so that we have many options for setting up outputs. Thank you for watching. I hope you come back in the next video where we see Bo and JJ having their last conversation.